Hey, how's it going? This is Daniel Bushis. In this month's tutorial, I'm going to teach you a simple and easy strategy and process for you to identify the next product that you're going to want to create. Also, this process helps you to identify the holes that are currently inside of your customer lifecycle journey in your Ascension Path. So this is pretty powerful stuff. It's, I promise, easy to use and easy to follow. And this month's tutorial is a little bit moved away from my typical Infusionsoft trainings. So even though you certainly can use this with Infusionsoft, this month has nothing to do with actual campaign building at all. This is more hardcore strategy and identifying the holes so you can fill them and you can monetize your customer base. So that being said, just a quick overview. I'm a professional consultant. I'm the CEO of In the Mix Promotions Incorporated. I also run my own consulting agency called Daniel Bushis Consulting. I'm an Infusionsoft certified partner and a digital marketer certified partner. I offer to new clients or prospective clients a free 30-minute business consultation for free. So at any point during this training, if you have questions, take advantage of it. I promise it'll be to your advantage. And that being said, enough of self-promotion. Let's move into the fun stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to cover for you is, if I can get my PowerPoint to move, there we go, is the Ascension Path. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with an Ascension Path, basically what it is, you've got entry-level products. And that's over here on my graph that you're looking at on the left-hand side. And you'll see that the chart on the y-axis is product sales and the x-axis is profit. So that being said, your entry-level products typically have the lowest amount of profit margin for you, but the highest amount of sales. And so you could potentially put those categorized tripwires under there, or paid lead magnets or things like that if you want to. For this kind of case, I'm really looking at more entry-level products, right? So if you're thinking of, for an example, well, what would be an entry-level product? Well, let's look at vehicles, right? So you might have an entry-level Mercedes that's $30,000, and I think it's like a C-level Mercedes or something. And then you have a mid-tier Mercedes that's the S-Class, and then you have the highest, $100,000 level Mercedes, which is the E-Class, right? So your entry-level products typically are very cheap, low barrier to entry. And what I mean by low barrier to entry is it requests or asks of the potential customer or the lead little amount of effort, usually a little amount of time, and it's always the smallest amount of money. Now, your core offer, which is in the middle over here, the core offer is really, it's just that. That's the core product. So you might be an art supply company that happens to sell paint brushes, but your core offer is paint. So you're selling paint brushes at a low price, but really what you want to sell them is paint. And then the final thing might be add-ons, might be some special glazes or whatever. So the final thing is the add-on or upsell. This typically has the lowest amount of volume of sales, but it has the highest amount of profit margin. So in the digital marketer world, that's called your profit maximizer. Also, it's called an upsell or an add-on to the core offer. Okay, so when you're looking at that, just to kind of understand things, and what I just kind of covered is, so you've got a high amount of time, effort, or money, and you're going to have a low number of product sales. So the more time, the more effort you ask for someone, and the more money that you ask from them, is you're going to have the fewer amount of product sales. And the least amount of time, effort, or money is going to get you the highest amount of product sales. And if you look at, kind of infomercials and things like that, you'll know that you've got, diet commercials, hey, just sit on your couch and take these pills and you're going to lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks, right? So low amount of time, low amount of effort. It's usually some ridiculous price. For only $19, we're going to do all this miracle stuff. And then you get a bunch of product sales. So they're trying to go off volume. Okay. So, and then I'll show you one more thing here. And if my PowerPoint wants to cooperate with me, there we go. Okay. So the final thing is this. So when you're looking at your Ascension Path and you're looking at the different kind of products that are in your Ascension Path, is you have a category or a stage 1 of products, and those are your entry level products, right? Low amount of time, little effort, small dollar amount, you're going to get the most amount of sales. Your core offer, and this is your entry level right here. So you'll see little amount of time, a lot of sales, right? And then, so for your core offer, it's going to be kind of the midpoint, right? So it's going to be a mid-level amount of time, effort, and money, and it's going to be, hopefully, the one that is driving the majority of your profit and your sales, okay? So the majority of your profits should be coming from your core offer. And then the final thing is your add-on, your upsell, your profit maximizer, however you want to call it. And this is going to be the highest amount of time or money or effort that you're going to ask of these people. And statistically speaking, it's going to be the lowest amount of sales, but also it's going to give you the highest amount of profit margin. That's usually how it works. Your examples may be slightly different, and that's okay. But usually your entry-level product that has a very low price point is going to also have a correlation to a very low profit margin. So usually this is kind of how the standard thing looks, and it should look something similar for you. Okay, so moving forward, now that we just covered all those fun little graphs and PowerPoint, in the blog right here, you're taking a look at the blog. I'm going to provide you with a worksheet, and we are going to be working off of this worksheet for you to input everything. So I know I went a little bit backwards here, and I kind of dived into the Ascension Path and how your customer lifecycle journey should be moving someone from an entry-level product up into the core offer, and then, if not right away, over time, getting them into the add-on, the upsell, the profit maximizer, the next product, right? So that's your Ascension Path, your customer lifecycle journey, and that's what you want to be doing with your funnels, is ultimately moving people through so they continue to buy, they continue to stay engaged. Okay, so step 1 is go to my blog. If you're there and you're listening to this on my blog, great, good for you, welcome. Go ahead, download your free product worksheet. By entering your name and your email address, what's going to happen is, yes, you are going to get added to my newsletter. No, I will not bombard you with a bunch of useless emails. But you are immediately going to get the link for your Excel spreadsheet. For any of you that don't have Excel, I also created a version in a Google Sheet, so I can share that too. That'll be upon request. But inside of your Excel spreadsheet, we'll have everything that we're going to work off of. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull up my Excel spreadsheet for you so we can take a look at what that's going to look at. And my Excel spreadsheet is massive, so you guys can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink it down into the screen for you so we can kind of get started here. All right, so there we go. And let me make this guy just a tad bit smaller. Okay, all right. So this is the Excel spreadsheet. It's going to come with 3 tabs. I promise you we're going to cover all those tabs. And this is so simple that this is going to be a very short tutorial. Any questions, just feel free to message me, and I'll be happy to answer them. So what you're going to do, of course, is you're going to download your product creation worksheet. That's what I just showed you. And step 2, what you're going to do is you're going to find and identify your top performing products in stage 1, which is entry level, in stage 2, which is your core product offer, and stage 3, which is your add-on or your upsells. Now, some of you might only have 1 entry level product, 1 core product, and no upsells. That's completely okay. Don't fret. If you have tons and tons of products, good for you. You're very prolific in building content and products and services, so that's awesome. Find and pull a report over the last 6 months. That's my suggestion for you, is over the last 6 months, pull a report to find your top performing stage 1 products, stage 2 products, and stage 3 products. Once you have that report, go ahead. You can enter the product name for that. You can do it in any order you want, as long as you have your entry-level products in stage 1. You have the top 6 there, and then you follow accordingly for stage 2 and stage 3. So go ahead and do that. And then in the selling price, I ask you to go ahead and put in the selling price. The selling price is not the retail rate unless you do full retail and you never discount. If you do a lot of discounting, don't get me started. You should never discount. But if you do, for any reason, do discount on a specific product or service, then my request for you is to find the average price over the last 6 months for that specific product or service and put in the average selling price, okay? And that's going to give you a better net profit based off of your average selling price. So net profit, just in case you don't know, net profit is after the cost of selling, so after the cost of goods sold, that's your net profit. So revenue minus the cost to sell that is net. For any of you that are in financial services or accountants, you might have a different view, and you're probably right, but I'm giving you the very basic overview of what net profit is, okay? And so what I want you to do is put in the net profit. And as you can see here, I put in examples for you, so you can just overwrite this. And then I put in a calculator for you. So what the calculator is going to do is it's going to show you your profitability based off of your net profit and divided by your selling price. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put in the last 6 months total units sold of that product. And then it'll automatically calculate for you your total net profit. And then based off of, once you start inputting all this information into the spreadsheet or into the worksheet, what's going to happen is it's going to give you these fancy little calculators. It's going to do it automatically for you to show you the total the percent of the total sales for that specific product and the percent of your total profit, okay? So if you look at this example and I say, okay, we had a selling price of $97, a net profit of $35, it gives us a profitability of about 36%, and we sold 125 units of that over the last 6 months. That gives me a net profit in my stage 1 of entry-level products. It gives me a total net profit of $4,375. Stage 2, same thing. Input the same information for your stage 2 and stage 3 products. And then what's going to happen is it's going to total up for you automatically your total amount of sales over the last 6 months and your total net profit over the last 6 months. And by the way, these are completely made up numbers, okay? And so what's going to happen then is you'll see right here is this percentage is going to tell you the percent of your total sales. And once you start inputting more things, it's going to show you the percent of total sales based off of that category. And then it's going to show you the percent of total profit that's attributed to your entire profit. So percent of total sales over your entire product sold, and the percent of profit contribution to your total net profit for each category. I hope that makes sense. If not, just ping me with a question, but it should make sense. So this is going to give you totals for each category, and then it's going to tell you what the contribution of all of your specific stage of products have for your entire profit. So very, very powerful stuff. So that's the first couple steps. So going just quickly through my blog post, that's what I'm showing you. I tell you how to do it, and I walk you through everything that I just discussed with you. And so one of the cool things that this is going to show you here is once it starts to show you your percent of total sales and your percent of the profit, and you start to look at your different lead magnets or tripwires, I should say, or entry-level products, or if you have multiple core products, and you start to see the total amount of profit and the total amount of sales, is really, if you look at this from a stock investing perspective, and let's just use this as an example, if you're a stock trader and each of these core product offers in stage 2 are individual stocks, Well, what would you want if you had an individual stock and you were looking at different options to invest in? You'd probably be looking at how many can you have and what's the highest amount of return you can have, right? Biggest bang for your buck, basically. So that's how you're going to start to look at that. And this is really the power of this worksheet that I'm going to provide to you, is you're really going to start to see how much you're selling and how much of the percent of profit that really is. So you might have a product that's selling a ton of units, but the total percent of profit contribution and the total percent of sales for that specific category is actually quite low. And so really what that's going to show you is, hey, maybe I should examine this, and maybe I should either look at upping the price or doing something different or creating another product around that. So it's going to give you insight. And so if I kind of zoom in here, if I can, so this I actually pulled from my Scott trade, right? So these are my real stocks. And so you'll see if you're looking at this as a stock example, for the Altria group, I had a 41% return, right, of gain. And for Apple, even though I love Apple, I'm almost 21% in the hole, right? And so you can actually have entry-level products that you're actually losing money on once you start to look at that, based off of time, effort, cost to actually sell that product. And so once you start to look at that, this worksheet's going to give you the insight and knowledge to say, you know what? I'm going to invest more time, resources, and I'm going to develop more products that are going to give me higher returns. And I'm not going to look at losers anymore, or I'm going to put less effort into that, or potentially create fewer products that are not giving me a higher percent of return. So I want you to kind of use that example as put on your stock trading hat and start to look at this spreadsheet as exactly that. Because once you start to do so, I think you'll see some holes in there, and you'll start to see some things that you might want to invest more ad spend or time or effort into if they're high profit margins for you and they're producing good returns. Okay, cool. So now that we have all that, and now that I've already covered the difference between your entry-level products, the amount of time, effort, and everything, we're going to move to the next step. And the next step is this tab right here in your Excel spreadsheet, which is your customer avatars. And I got this guy zoomed in pretty high, so let me kind of zoom back down just a tad bit. There we go. And so there's a couple of different names for this. You've probably heard your avatars, your ideal customers, your perfect customers. So however you want to call it. If you haven't already done this, I've given this for you to go ahead and do it. If you're a follower of Digital Marketer, and as you know, I'm a certified partner at Digital Marketer, so I've basically used their content that I'm licensed and allowed to use to basically use it. It's amazing what they've done and put together. So this is Digital Marketer's avatar spreadsheet, and I'm including that for you. And so you can go ahead and if you haven't done so, fill it out. And I will just briefly cover this. Hopefully you've already got something like this. But if you don't, go ahead and name your avatar and then fill in who your target customer is. And different companies or different brands usually have different kind of avatars, right? So if you are selling online courses, you might have beginner courses, intermediate courses, and advanced courses. So those would be your avatars, is your beginners, your intermediate, and your advanced. And if you want to go even further, you might have people that are, trying to break into the industry, coming from another industry. And so you have different segments of beginners or different sub-segments. So I've given you 4. You're more than welcome to use this and create more. If you already have this kind of information filled out, awesome. We can go ahead and move on. But everything in here is self-explanatory, so you're going to fill out all this information so you can understand not only what's going on in your world, in your ascension path for all of your different products, the contribution for the profits, the contribution for the total sales within your entire world, but also within each respective stage. But then you're going to also identify all of your target customers. And once you have the information for all of the ideal customers, demographics, their pain points, challenges, and all of that kind of information, we're going to jump into step 3. Step 3, this is the bread and butter of the entire worksheet, okay? And this guy right here is what we're going to do, is we're going to marry the data that you already put in, marry that data from step 1, okay? And then we're going to take your ideal customer avatars that you've already filled out. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is that I'm going to say, okay, for your first avatar, this guy over here or this gal over here, go ahead and plug in all of your stage 1 entry-level products that you market or advertise or that they buy. And I want you to go ahead and do that for your core offer, your stage 2, and your stage 3. And it's totally fine and it's totally okay for you to have the same entry-level product for all your different avatars. For those of you that have a lot of products, I guarantee you probably have different products that specific audiences do not buy or you do not market to, or for whatever reason, they're not top performers within those respective subsets of customers. So this is going to give you insight at a very granular level of every point of each of your ideal customers' ascension path of what is selling, the profitability and the contribution to that. And very blatantly, this is going to give you enterprise level insight that Fortune 500 companies use to see where are their holes. Where are their holes? So, hey, if we've got this ideal customer over here, avatar number 2, and we've realized that, in our entire world, our entire product portfolio of core offers, we have 5, but we're only selling 1 to this ideal customer, this avatar number 2. Well, you know what? We've got a hole there. So what we need to do is we either need to start putting marketing dollars and advertising dollars to sell and promote and market this additional core offer to this subset of our customer base, or we need to retool the product or create a new product because we have a hole here. We don't have a lot of core offers to offer. And this can play into your add-ons, your upsells, your profit maximizers, as well as your entry-level products and your tripwires. So you're going to start to see the power of this. Once you start to input all this information, you'll clearly see all your holes. And if you didn't have all of your ideal customers lined up, and maybe you didn't even pull a report, maybe you haven't done any of these steps. And if you haven't, well, you're gonna have an incredible amount of data and power and insight at your disposal, probably within the next 30 minutes. If you go ahead and do this now, it should take you about 30 minutes, no more. And you're going to have enterprise level information that chief marketing officers and entire marketing teams use as tools to identify and then strategize and then either retool, refine, or create new products and then market to those audiences. And obviously, knowing the gurus that these people follow, knowing their challenges, knowing their pain points, and then knowing all these kind of basically Facebook interests right here, these are all Facebook interests really, then you already know exactly how you're going to go set up your ad sets inside Facebook to run ads. You know who you're going to go after. You know what you're going to kind of talk to about. And you know the specific product that you're going to sell to them. And you're going to know the language that you're going to sell and how you're going to sell. And of course, knowing your profitability, you're also going to know exactly the ones that you're going to want to focus on. So that's it. This was a really short training this week, or I should say this month. So hopefully you find this very valuable. As you can see, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. There's no dumb questions ever. So if you have questions, if you've got comments, by all means, leave comments right here on the blog post. If you have questions, go ahead, message me. I'll do my best to answer them. And of course, if you want me to help review this, take advantage of the free 30-minute consultation I provide. I promise you, if you don't have any of this set up, this is going to be an incredibly powerful and valuable 30 minutes that you and I can spend together. Thank you so much. I hope this is a benefit. Share this, like this. Make sure to follow me on Facebook if you will. and sign up for my monthly newsletter. It's right here on my website, which you can do so. If you downloaded your Excel spreadsheet, you're already part of it. Every single month I have a new training that I do. So thank you so much. I hope this is valuable to you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.